All right, thank you all for being here. That was Conga Danza, a Chucho Valdez tune, arranged by me, featuring Nathan Fisher on trumpet. A wonderful rhythm section, Jeffrey Chaidez, Ashton Weigel, and Elijah Marrewa. Patrick Bird on bass. And myself, Carter Floering. And I'll introduce everyone again when I do thank yous, but that was Conga Danza, and now we're going to keep it going with a swing tune, Mean to Me. Actually, I think I will say a few words. So that was mean to me. This next one, and I'm talking because there's actually a rhythm section changeover. You're going to notice, so I have 3 rhythm section players, and I gave them all of the music right up front, and I said, go ahead and divvy it up amongst yourselves. And I thought the easy method would be one person on drum set, and then other people could take the auxiliary percussion, but they decided 2, 2, and 2 for all 6 tunes. So you're going to get to hear from a lot of different guys. Now we have Elijah on the set for one of my originals titled Kumintang. All right. I think most people at UNT will know that tune. That was Cherokee. Next up is another original of mine titled Reminiscence. This one and the other original were kind of done written in two parts. One is because of the Latin studies that I've done here. When I'm doing my thank yous, I'll talk more about this. But one professor here in particular really inspired me to research sort of my own history and my family history on my dad's side, which is Filipino. And so Kumintang came from that sort of like a Spanish bolero, but it's actually a Filipino style. And then also with all the work I've been doing in the Latin band came this sort of 6/8 Venezuelan type tune called Reminiscence. All right, thank you very much. That was Reminiscence. And now, I guess if you're looking at the program, which is online, our last tune is coming up, which means it's time for thank yous. At this time, too, the rest of the band can come on up so I can actually point at you to thank you. Cool. So first of all, it's just one note card, double-sided, so it shouldn't take too long. I'll keep it brief. But first and foremost, I want to thank my mom and dad. They flew all the way here from Michigan. They've supported me through this whole journey, and they're here all the way in Denton, Texas to watch me perform. Also, all the rest of my family, I know a lot of them are watching on the live stream as well, family, friends too, from back home, and all around. So thank you guys, and then thank you, Mom and Dad. I don't know where you are because the lights are kind of blinding, but right there in the middle. Cool. Yeah. All right. I'll thank my committee as well, but I have more to say about each of them too. But Alan Baylock, Jose Aponte, and Dave Meter, they've all been super important in my journey here at UNT. I took conducting with Alan Baylock, but during that time, it also just strengthened my ability to efficiently direct a band. Putting this together, I hope is a result of that. But I want to thank you. Jose Aponte, I still have, so I was blessed to be in the Latin band for a full year, my first semester. I've done beginning Afro-Cuban, I've done drum set lessons with him, and I have his voice in my head every now and then just saying, you need to play, because I heard that a lot, and it's super important, and it's gotten me out of sort of the shell of, in the fact that there is no such thing as a timid rhythm section player. I know he would say that. And so he was the one who kind of pushed me to get out of this closed way of playing and just kind of let it out and play. And then Dave Meter has been super influential. Both him and Professor Frederick Sanders as well. I got to study with both of them for a year. I came in at a certain level, and I'm leaving at another level, and everything that they've done from beginning to end has been exactly what I needed through my journey here at UNT. And I'm just super thankful for all of their knowledge that they've imparted in me as a piano player, and life lessons that I'll take with me all the way through. So I don't know where you guys are, but Alan Baylock, Professor Jose Aponte, and Dave Meter, and Frederick Sanders, they're up there. So thank you guys so much. I'm so blessed that you guys have been a part of this journey. I want to thank Recording Services too. The live stream, I know is going to be amazing for all the people watching at home. The sound is always amazing. The way that we're able to set up where we can hear each other is amazing. So I appreciate all you guys do. I know you're making us sound the best that we can. So give it up for Recording Services. What else do I got? And all of you guys for being here. Thank you so much for spending your evening with me. I want to thank all my friends, classmates, my students as well. I know that it seems like there's a lot of people here, so I just appreciate all you guys spending your evening with me. It means a lot because this is sort of the culmination of all 2 years of me being here, is the Master's Recital. So I hope this is kind of the first gig of many to come, but I appreciate you guys being here a lot. So thank you guys. Perfect. And then I want to thank the band. So I've gotten to play with these guys a lot over the years, both in the Latin band, in practice room sessions, just playing sort of free improv last year with Nathan. And I know I made a joke about it earlier, but I'm really, really thrilled that the drummers split it up 2, 2, and 2 for all these tunes, because I've played with all of them over my 2 years here, and now I get to kind of equally play with all of them on set for my recital. So I love that. So we have Nathan Fisher, who's on set. Ashton Weigel on the drum set there. Elijah Marrewa on congas. Jeffrey Chaidez on percussion. And Patrick Bird on bass. I'm Carter Floering, and so this last song is a song that we played a lot in the Latin band. It was always one of my favorites. I took some elements of it and I made my own arrangement of it. But this last tune here is Night in Tunisia.